Warm temperatures greeted the first ever Miami Grand Prix weekend. Practice has gone underway, and it's Carlos Sainz who set the fastest times on Friday. Leclerc sitting second and Verstappen third for Red Bull. Of course, Verstappen leading the Drivers' Championship, but it's Ferrari on top early on. Mercedes showing further pace. Lando Norris reporting no issues with his car over the course of Friday. He currently sits in 5th place in the Drivers' Championship with an ambition to try and move up this weekend, potentially eyeing a podium finish here around the Miami International Autodrome. And finally, McLaren's rookie Oscar Piastri shining. The McLaren rookie 7th in practice between the Alpines of Esteban Ocon and Alexander Albon. So things are looking good for all of those teams, but with rain on the way over the course of this race weekend, it's definitely anyone's game as to who wins the first ever Miami Grand Prix. We're going live on Sunday for Lights Out, so make sure to tune in. What is going on, everybody? Zach RC here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to episode number 3 of F1 The Prodigy Season 4 for the first ever Miami Grand Prix here in the 2025 season, and it is a wet one here in what is typically called the Sunshine City. So it's going to be a very exciting race here today. Going to jump right into your grid before we get ahead with the Grand Prix itself. It's Red Bull's Charles Leclerc on pole position, and Malachi Wilson starts on the front row for the first time this season. He'll line up alongside the Monegasque driver in 2nd place. Starting third, it's our teammate Carlos Sainz in the Ferrari alongside him, championship leader and the only winner of the season, Verstappen. Lando Norris and George Russell line up together on row 3. Row 4, it's Sergio Perez and Alexander Albon for Alpine. Gasly and Ocon for Alpine. Another Alpine rounds out the top 10. Mick Schumacher starts alongside Liam Lawson on row 6. Then it's Theo Pourchaire and Robert Schwartzman, another pair of rookies there. Lance Stroll starting 15th, Guan Yu Zhou back in 16th. Valtteri Bottas 17th, Ricciardo on the 18th position, and Felipe Drugovich and Piastri starts dead last due to a grid penalty. Right then, so here we are now on the grid getting ready for the start of the race itself. Like I said, the first ever Miami Grand Prix in the Prodigy series. Down on the grid there we have a number of cars in preparation for this one. Liam Lawson starting in 12th, one above his average qualifying position so far. That has been 13th. He hasn't done too bad in qualifying over the few races in his career so far. There is the rear wing of Malachi Wilson's car as he prepares for the start of the Grand Prix. And further back is Valtteri Bottas, who starts 17th. He's one of 8 drivers who's yet to score so far in 2025. We're hoping for his sake he can make up that, he can change that today. So the formation lap now getting underway. It's going to be a very crucial race, this one. Verstappen's won both the first 2 actual races plus the sprint at Imola, but he's starting in 4th place today. And as of right now, in terms of the Drivers' Championship, he still shows the way by a dominant margin over Russell, Sainz and Malachi in 4th place. But today's a big opportunity to potentially try and get that championship lead if we can, potentially. I think actually it might be a bit too much out of reach, but we can definitely close in on him. Of course, Malachi yet to win a race this season, but crucially he took his first victory of Ferrari last year in the wet, and that was the beginning of the push towards the World Championship in that title-winning campaign. So hopefully these wet conditions will be just what we need to really get the season kick-started. But we've got to contend with Charles Leclerc, who's been giving us a lot of trouble these first few races on the run down towards turn number 1. Of course, we had a bit of a scuffle in the feature race in Imola, which resulted in Leclerc being knocked. Well, we didn't knock him. He got locked up. He locked up, went off into the gravel, which is unfortunate for him. And then he retired from the race. We're looking to make up some points today. So the rest of the cars now, the back of the pack now lining up on the grid for what should be a very exciting race. And we're all wondering the same question: who will win it? Who will win the first ever Miami Grand Prix? We're about to find out. 5 red lights. Lights out, foot to the floor, go, 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 go. It's a brilliant getaway from Leclerc on the right-hand side as we charge towards that first corner, but it's a terrible one from us. We're dropping back here. Let's go late on the brakes. Verstappen trying to charge to the inside. Maybe that's a little bit of wheel banging there. We've come to the middle though. Verstappen tried to make a move. We've taken the lead here of the Miami Grand Prix out of the first corner. It's been a brilliant getaway. Of course, it wasn't the best off the line, but we've managed to make it up, and that's what counts. We're already about half a second clear of Verstappen, and Leclerc's an absolute stinker of a start out of that first corner. Sainz sits back down 4th. Russell's already dropped a few places, but Wilson leads crucially out of the first sector, but Verstappen will be hunting him down like a Terminator, as he always does. Of course, he's had a brilliant start to the season. They want to continue that. I'm sure that Malachi will be not something he wanted to have standing in his way. So Verstappen will get a good run on us, charging down to one of the longest straights on the circuit. There'll be no DRS today, more or less, thanks to this wet weather. So that advantage isn't one that Verstappen has in his arsenal, but he's still dangerously quick down the straights. He's already there on our inside, and he's got the lead for the moment. Let's go late on the brakes in order to even stand a chance against him around the outside. He's going to force us a long way around. We'll have the inside for this next corner as we head into the stadium section. Of course, the Hard Rock Stadium there over in America. We've managed to make our way back through past Verstappen, and we've retaken the lead of the race. We head into that very tight chicane for the first time. One of the slowest corners on the circuit, and that won't be a major spot for overtaking unless we're feeling very, very dangerous. We're making our way down the the longest straight on the circuit. This will be the second DRS straight on the track. Verstappen, like I say, doesn't have that advantage today, but he's still got a brilliant toe. He's going to look to the inside now before going towards that very tight left hand of the final corner on the circuit. Verstappen has the lead once again. Let's go late on the brakes to get him around the outside if we can. Verstappen's going to get poor exit. We'll get the good traction that we need. Hopefully, Verstappen gets it. He has us on there on the outside, but the inside now for us to make our way through to retake the lead from him. The lead change has been intense in this opening lap, and Malachi shows the way, almost running into the wall there. So a bit wide, I've been something I have to work on at that last corner. Leclerc's trying to go from on the inside of Verstappen as we begin lap number 2, and he gets him for the moment. Will he manage to stick in front of him? I think Verstappen might just get him back. It'll be very tight, but Leclerc gets through and takes away second place. Moving on now towards the end of lap number 3. It's still Wilson in the lead as it stands, but Leclerc's coming at him around the outside. This time we're going to force the monogas the long way around, but he's already got the lead, so that's not something we can really do at this moment in time. Verstappen there up behind us. We might go 3 wide with the Red Bulls here, making our way down in towards that next left-hander. We're going to bring ourselves back to the inside. I'm going to hold on to the top spot just for the moment, but I think Verstappen's going to try and go around our outside if he can. It's very tight. Leclerc's once again been shuffled back down to 3rd place, and he can't stop the Dutchman and the Brit as we make our way back through that chicane. Wilson's done absolutely brilliant here to manage to hold his own against those 2 Red Bulls. Sainz sits back there in 4th. There hasn't been much help to us so far. I'm hoping he can really get amongst those 2 Red Bulls and potentially ruffle their feathers just a little bit to make our way back down that straight now. Look, Verstappen's got another run. He's on the right-hand side. Once again, Wilson on the inside as they make our way down that long straight end. The toe is brilliant for Verstappen. He's retaken the lead. We'll try and come back at him, though. This time we'll have the inside as opposed to the outside as we did in the opening lap. But Verstappen just about squeezes us out there. And Max Verstappen, for the first time today, for real this time, leads the Miami Grand Prix outright. He's already put out a decent advantage. Look at that. He's almost a second clear of us as he crosses the line. And he's only had the lead for a few seconds. That's just how good he is in that Red Bull. Pushing further on now to lap number 9. He's put out a 2-second advantage over the rest of the pack. And we're 1.5 in front of Leclerc. We've managed to set the fastest lap here just about over the 2 Red Bulls. So that should perhaps be a changing the guard potentially in terms of who's got the faster car. Another Ferrari's been all rubbered in terms of the tyres. We'll be able to really close in. As we come towards the end of lap number 12 now. We've pulled that whole second down. Daniel Ricciardo out of the race. So that's our first retirement of this Grand Prix. And the safety car for the first time this season comes out. Brilliant stuff here. Not quite sure what's happened to Ricciardo, but the looks of it, he's just fallen off the pace a little bit here. He was running back down there in 18th place, so he hasn't really had much to say about over the course of these first 11 laps. But yeah, it's some kind of internal problem. There's no, I think there's maybe a bit of smoke coming out the car. However, I don't think there's too much, and he's going to have to pull the car over and retire, and that's what's brought out this safety car. So I think we probably should take the advantage to pit for fresh, wet tyres that will definitely bring us to the end of the race. Because wet weather tyres do last an awfully long time. So as you come now into the pit lane at the end of lap number 12, we'll try and close on Verstappen a little bit, be a bit later on the brakes going into the pits. Sainz is there behind us, so if he's close enough, he could potentially hold up Verstappen. And Leclerc's double stacking as well. That's a double stack with Sainz as well. The turn-in's optimal, so that's good stuff. Leclerc comes in behind. Sainz just a second or 2 short. So unfortunately, he doesn't hold up Verstappen. That would have been absolute Ferrari tactics at their finest if we managed to pull that off. But unfortunately, like I say, Sainz just that little bit too far behind. We have closed a little bit on Verstappen, and we were right behind him with the safety car restart in just a couple of laps' time. So it can be a very, very exciting second half to this race. So Verstappen then shows the way. Wilson second, Leclerc third. Norris is up mid up to 4th now thanks to that double stack. Sainz is in 5th, Albon 6th, Russell 7th, Pierre Gasly 8th, Sergio Perez 9th, and Mick Schumacher in 10th. Now the safety car coming to an end. Now how will we play this restart? It's going to be very important as to how we take this. We need to try and get the lead back as quickly as we can, because I'm not sure if Verstappen will have the upper hand on us, or whether we'll be further or be faster than him on this restart. He'll have the edge on us. He'll have the lead. We're going to try and go on the outside, do the same sort of thing he does, or did over the course of last year. I'm pretty sure it's been disallowed now. We're going to try it again anyway. Safety car making his way in, and the green flag now flying once again here in Miami to begin lap number 15. We've got 15 laps to go in this race. Excuse me, my maths, yeah, I think my maths is right there. Down into turn 1, I'm going to dive to the inside now to try and take the lead away from Verstappen. We had him through turn 1 and we get him outright through turn 2. Malachi Wilson now back up front, and further back Alexander Albon passing Pierre Gasly for 6th place. George Russell's had a nightmare restart there. It's already lost another place. It's been a poor race for him so far. But Wilson now back up front. Is back to work defending from those 2 Red Bulls as much as we can. onto further into lap 15 now. We've managed to pull out a decent gap ourselves and Verstappen. What's this? An objective's coming back in. What is this? We haven't seen this in quite a while. But we've got an objective and not quite sure what that's about. Not sure what it's doing here again. But it's clear to us now that we've got to hold off the pack and win the race. And there's still a pack sort of there at this stage, because we're not too far out in front. But yeah, definitely, I'm not quite sure what that's doing here. But maybe perhaps this is a return to the old sort of style to these videos. On to towards the end of lap number 17 now, start of lap 18. Ourselves and Verstappen have pulled out 4.3 seconds. We're absolutely dominating here to make our way further through. And now further on to lap number 25, Norris is starting to close that gap back in. He's the only one so far who's managed to close it back in. But as we said earlier, the Mercedes doesn't have much problems by his terms, especially earlier on in the week in practice. So he's having no trouble chasing us down and could become a potential dark horse to try and win this race, with Sainz and Leclerc not too far back as Verstappen tries again around the outside, trying to make something work. Will he get a good enough run? He will have the edge on him going into the corner. Will he try and switch back? He needs to go for it here. We have to cover him off. It's just about clean enough to be robust within the rules, and we've managed to hold him off there out of the last corner. Pushing on now to the start of lap number 28. It's going to be a very, very tight end to this one, because the rest of the pack have now caught up, or at least the top 5 are now all there, while Albon defends from Russell further back, as Pierre Gasly's fallen away as well. So yeah, with a decent amount of time in front of Verstappen, that could still very easily change. 1.7 seconds as we push further on now to the start of the last lap of this Grand Prix. And now Verstappen right there is, as I say, a couple of tenths behind us. It's going to be a very, very tight showdown to end this one. You see just how quick that Red Bull's been based on just how it has been all day, and the fact it's managed to close in a good second or so on us. So there's just a lap's time. He's going to come to the inside now. Norris right there behind, looking to try and pick up any scraps that could come into play. This is our first win of the season we're fighting for here. We need to get Malachi over the line first to complete the objective that was shown to us earlier on in the episode. I'm not sure why that happened, but we still need to complete it just to be safe. And we've made our way through the chicane here. We're making our way down that DRS straight for the final time. This is Verstappen's last potential chance to attack. We've seen how good the Red Bull is in terms of straight line speed, way quicker than our Ferrari, especially in the slipstream. Got to weave over left to right to break the toe, but Verstappen's still closing him regardless. He'll have the outside line. We're going to try and squeeze him out. Will he look to the inside, or will he try and stick it on the outside? We're going to make him go the wrong way around into the final corner. It's his last chance to try and take the lead. We've got a bit wide though. Verstappen senses the chance of the switchback. There's a bit of contact. Verstappen slides, and there he goes away. And now Norris now swipes second, but it's not going to stop Malachi Wilson from claiming his first victory of the season. Malachi Wilson wins the first Miami Grand Prix, and it's a finish for the history books. What a great way to end that race. Lando Norris comes home second, Max Verstappen third, Sainz fourth, Leclerc fifth. Wonderful stuff. Well, didn't quite expect what happened there. We completed the objective that was displayed to us earlier on, and Malachi Wilson, sporting the DLC yellow overalls, wins the Miami Grand Prix, the first one ever to be completed. It's brilliant. It was a brilliant race from start to finish. Of course, the rain definitely threw a spanner in the works for every single team, considering how good the weather was in Friday practice. But we've managed to come out on top. Verstappen there, I'm not sure, a bit of contact there at the end. That, or he just slid around a bit, but he just couldn't handle it. So commiserations to him. He drove a brilliant race. But it's Malachi on top for the first time in a couple of months now. It's been a while since he's stood on the top step of a podium. And it's been a race or two since he's actually managed to stand on a podium in itself. But regardless, he's the winner. Norris second, and Verstappen in third. So we'll take you now through the rest of the top 10 finishing order. Carlos Sainz comes home in fourth. Decent points for Ferrari there. It's a total of 38 for us today. Leclerc home in fifth. Poor race for the pole setter. Alex Albon, another brilliant race for him for Alpine. He comes home sixth, again outperforming Ocon. Russell seventh. Poor race for him today. Definitely wanting to move on from this one. Gasly eighth. Perez ninth, and Esteban Ocon rounds out your top 10. So in terms of the Drivers' Championship, it's still Verstappen on top with 73 points. We're back up now into second in that race after falling back at the end of last episode. Sainz sits there in third. Russell's dropped down 3 places there. He was second, he's now fifth. And Norris jumps up to fourth, just 2 points clear of his teammate. And now for the Constructors' Championship, it's now a dead tie between Red Bull and Ferrari in terms of points, but Red Bull have the edge due to their extra race victory. Mercedes sits there in third, Alpine fourth, and McLaren in fifth. Williams and Aston Martin still waiting to score after these first few rounds. So with that then, you guys, that is the end of the episode. I do hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to smash the like button and get subscribed now. I'm trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Until my next video, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you in the next episode of The Prodigy. Take care, everyone, and goodbye.